Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio, although apparently I have gone back to being a bit croaky, which is, frankly, a little bit sad. It's coming and going, it's very strange. But today, I want to talk about Brilliant Stars. Because you see, we talked about Brilliant Stars when it was revealed, we knew a bunch of stuff. But since it was revealed, a whole bunch of new information has come out. So what we can now do is we can go back to all the stuff they told us when Brilliant Stars was initially revealed, and it all makes a whole bunch more sense. So let's have a gander, shall we? Now, when we were told about Brilliant Stars, we were told, overflowing with light, Arceus V-Star descends from on high to share its celestial powers of other Pokémon V. Shaymin V-Star, Charizard V-Star, and Whimsicott V-Star find themselves wielding awesome new V-Star powers, while Mimikyu V-Max, Aggron V-Max, and Kingler V-Max in its Gigantamax form boast tremendous strengths of their own. Discover glimmering constellations and start your journey towards stellar greatness in the Pokémon TCG Sword and Shield Brilliant Stars expansion. But then we were told that there were over 170 cards, including 4 brand new Pokémon V-Star, 20 Pokémon V, 3 Pokémon V-Max, and 30 cards with special art in the Trainer Gallery subset, as well as over 20 trainer cards and a new special energy. Well, the good news is that we can now look at everything that we've seen and we know a whole bunch more information. For instance, those Pokémon V-Max, we have now seen them, we've now got images of them. Kingler V-Max came from the 100 start decks over in Japan, and Aggron V-Max came from the 100 start decks over in Japan. And then we saw that Mimikyu V-Max is coming from VMAX Climax over in Japan. It is very important to note there is not a new Mimikyu V. So whereas Aggron and Kingler come with new VMAXs and Vs, and they have to because we've never had a Pokemon V before, Mimikyu does not come in with a new Pokemon V. It is just a new VMAX. That is very, very important. All these cards, by the way, we don't have time to go through them in great detail, but there are videos about all of these on the channel, so go searching and you will find them nice and easily if you want an in-depth look at all of the cards I'm mentioning. And you will notice, and I think we're going to need to cover this again in more detail in the near future, you will notice that none of those Pokemon VMAX are actually coming from Starbirth, the Japanese set, which is their equivalent of Brilliant Stars. So there are no more VMAXs coming, and with that one random Pikachu exception I told you about the other day, which is frankly a bit weird, it really does seem like VMAXs are over. I've done a video about it. I haven't apparently convinced everyone yet, so I think we're going to do a follow-up, but the only VMAXs are from Japanese subsets. They're not from the Japanese set proper. Now, one thing I do find very interesting is that when they did the press release, Pokemon went out of their way to mention that they were including 3 Pokemon V-Max in the set, but they did not mention a new Pokemon V-Union. So, although I cannot tell you for absolute certainty it's not actually confirmed yet, I would be absolutely stunned if Morpeko V-Union ended up in this set. Do not expect Morpeko V-Union to appear in this set. For what it's worth, in Western countries, US, Europe, etc., we've only ever seen V-Unions appearing as standalone boxes. We've never seen them be put into packs or be part of a set. I would very, very much imagine that will be the case here. Do not expect to see Morpeko V-Union in the set. Expect it to just be its own thing in its own box. What does that do to the character super rare of Morpeko? Will that be in the set? Will there be 2 boxes? Will there be 1 box with 2 versions? Will we never get the character super rare? These are questions to which I don't have answers, and I think it is weird and confusing, but expect Morpeko V-Union to be put aside and put in its own product down the line, not in this set. Now, in terms of Pokemon V-Star, we have been told there are going to be 4 of them. We know exactly who the 4 are. They have been officially confirmed, and they are, in fact, the Pokemon on the booster pack artwork, that being Arceus, Charizard, Shaymin, and Whimsicott. Now, we have actually seen Arceus and Charizard in English, which is cool. Over in Japan, they have also shown off Shaymin. We've not seen Whimsicott. Whimsicott is, as it stands at the moment, unrevealed. Obviously, the moment the Whimsicott V-Star is revealed, there will be a channel on this video taking a good long look at it, just like there was for Arceus and Charizard and Shaymin. As it stands, we've not actually seen Whimsicott. Now, the one special energy that has been officially revealed in English and everything, that is Double Turbo Energy. It's 2 colorless energy on any Pokemon, but it reduces the damage you do by 20. This is an absolutely nuts card that is going to make a huge impact on the format. Keep an eye on this one, basically. Now, the weird one is when they give us 30 character rares or character super rares. Now, the actual language that they used was 30 cards with special art in the Trainer Gallery subset. These can only be the character rares and character super rares that came around in VMAX Climax. Because, come on, Trainer Gallery subset, there's no way that's anything else. Now, there is an interesting theory that several of you have sent me, which I do appreciate very much. Because several of you have pointed out to me that there are exactly 28 of the character rares and 42 of the character super rares. So that would mean that we could potentially have 28 character rares and 2 character super rares, and that would add up to exactly 30. That would make sense. And actually, there are very few that we know are coming, but there are a few which, and again, we don't actually know which ones are coming, but I think it is all but confirmed that Mimikyu is coming. Mimikyu V and Mimikyu V Max, the character super rares, as far as I'm concerned, are basically confirmed. And that's because Mimikyu V Max is a new card. We know for an absolute fact that Mimikyu V Max is in the set. And it makes sense to do the character rares and character super rares of the cards that are actually in the set. So I would be stunned at this stage, absolutely stunned, if we didn't see Mimikyu V Max and Mimikyu V character super rare. But they are the only character super rare that we have to get, because they're the only ones that are based on new Pokemon. So they could just do the character rares, all 28 of them, plus the 2 Mimikyu, and that would add up to 30. That would work, that would make sense. I don't know is the honest answer, but it would make sense. I think getting the Alchemy is all but a given, which makes me extremely happy because it's my absolute favourite of them. And the reason for that is that Alchemy is a brand new card in the set. Well, it's a brand new card in VMAX Climax, which means it is almost certainly going to be in our set proper in Brilliant Stars. And again, if they're bringing it in Brilliant Stars, it makes sense that we would get the character rare as well. The other one we could point to is Druddigon. Druddigon is a new card in the set. So again, it makes absolute perfect sense that Druddigon, the character rare, would also be coming in this set. Again, that isn't confirmed, but I do think it is. Again, I can't say it's actually confirmed, but I think it is as good as. So I think the new cards, your Alchemy, your Druddigon, your Mimikyu, I do think it's fair to say that they will be some of the ones that we get. Outside of that, sure, it makes sense to give us 28 character rares plus the 2 Mimikyu, but there's no real reason to think that other than the fact the numbers work nicely. So it's a nice little theory and it could be true, but take that one with a gigantic helping of salt. And as I said in a video the other day, in terms of full art supporters and those gold cards, we have absolutely zero information at all. So there really is no point even trying to guess what's going to be going on with them. We don't know if we're getting any of them. If we are, we don't know which ones we're getting. Gala Friends was a new card, so I would expect to get Gala Friends in the set. And if we're getting the card, I would expect to get the full art. Similarly, Cafe Master is a new card in the set, so I would expect to get the full art of Cafe Master, it being a new card. And similarly, the Ace Roller is a new card, so I would expect to get the full art of that one as well. But that's about the best I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen. I wish I could give you more. That would be awesome. I can't, and I'm sorry about that. But I think in terms of the secret rares, it is very fair to assume that any of them that are new cards, we will end up getting the full arts character super rares, whatever the appropriate secret rare version is. Outside of that, I do think everything needs to be taken with a rather gigantic heaping of salt. Now, in terms of trainers, I don't mean to go through every single trainer because we don't know exactly how many there are, etc. But there are a couple which are very much worth mentioning. Professor's Research Rowan, which is a reprint of Professor's Research, but with regulation mark F, meaning it will remain in the format for 2 extra years. Although that is in the 100 start decks in Japan, that has been confirmed as coming in Starbirth in Japan as well. That is going to be in Brilliant Stars. Cyrus, Boss's Orders Cyrus, which yes, is a reprint of Boss's Orders, but with Cyrus, and it will last an extra 2 years in the format. That has only been confirmed in the 100 start decks in Japan, but it very much looks like we are going to be getting all of the new cards on the 100 start decks in this set. So, again, these aren't confirmed, but it is overwhelmingly likely that these will end up being in the set. So what about Pokemon V then? Well, I think by my calculations, and again, correct me in the comment section if you think I'm wrong about this, I think we've seen 3/4 of them. I think we've already seen, well, okay, we've seen 14, but we know 15. So we've already seen the new Charizard that goes with the V-Star, the new Arceus that goes with the V-Star, and the new Shaman that goes with the V-Star. We know they're coming, we've seen them. We know there will be a Whimsicott V that has to be in order for there to be a V-Star. We haven't seen it yet, but it's definitely coming. Elsewhere in Starbirth, we have seen that Luminion is coming, and Luminion has got the same ability as Tapu Lele, or Jirachi before it. And this is an absolutely ridiculous card, which is going to see a ridiculous amount of play. It's huge. It's the only Pokemon V we've seen from Starbirth in Japan that doesn't also have a V-Star with it. I would imagine there are going to be 5 more. And the reason I imagine there's going to be 5 more is we're missing 5 Pokemon V from Brilliant Stars, and this is the most likely place they're going to be coming from. Although there are also promos, etc., which could end up in the set, but we have no information about that, and promos in Japan often end up as promos over here, etc. So I'm trying to stick to what we know. We know that the Pokemon V from Starbirth are going to be in Brilliant Stars. That's the way it works. We know that the Pokemon V from VMAX Climax and 100 start decks, and the VMAX and all of that, we know they're going to be in the set, we've basically been told. But we don't know about the promos, so we're staying away. Now, weirdly, VMAX Climax had no new Pokemon V whatsoever. It had Morpeko V Union, and it had Mimikyu V Max, but there were no actual new Pokemon V in VMAX Climax, which was weird, and I went back to double check, but it is actually true. But there are a bunch of new Pokemon V in the 100 start decks, which I am certain are going to be coming in Brilliant Stars, because we know Kingler V Max and Aggron V Max are coming from Brilliant Stars. So, again, we can't say for absolute certain, but they've confirmed that some of the Pokemon V are coming from the 100 start decks. That almost certainly means they all are. So what have we got? Well, we've got a new Zarude V, which I kind of like, to be honest. We've got Simisear getting its first ever Pokemon V. We've got Kingler V to go with the V Max. We've got both Entei and Raikou V that are, interestingly, in terms of attack and ability, the same as the Suicune we've already had. Now, they've got different typings and HP and retreat cost and weakness and energy cost. Not actual cost, but in terms of the specific energy required, because they're different types. But other than that, they are just reprints of Suicune, just in a different type, which I find interesting and very apt and kind of cool. We know we're getting Granbull V. We know we're getting Morpeko V, the Hangry form. We know we're getting Aggron V to go with the aforementioned V Max. We know we're getting the first ever Drampa V. And we know we're getting a new Zamazenta V. And this one's got a brilliant ability that lets you discard your hand and draw 5 cards at the expense of ending your turn. So this one's really, really good. Some of these are a bit fillery, I grant you. Some of these are really not. There are some really good cards coming in Brilliant Stars. So I like to go back when I can. When we first see this information from Brilliant Stars, we know very little. But now we can see that actually Brilliant Stars is a mashup of Starbirth, the 100 Start Deck's new cards, and VMAX Climax. There are a bunch of questions that still remain. What's going on with Morpeko v Union? Which of these character rares and character super rares are we getting, given that we're getting 30 and Japan's getting 70? And what are those remaining Pokemon V? But as it stands at the moment, we actually know a lot more about Brilliant Stars than people are thinking. So there we go. And now you know everything that we need to know. So now it's over to you guys. Tell me which of these cards look really good. Tell me which ones you're excited about. But don't tell me I forgot random promo Pokemon V from Japan. Because remember, they could be in the set, but they could not. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.